Russian is written in a whole nother alphabet? Ooh, I mean, how do you even read this? We've got a Y, a W, a U, and an H. And this is a backwards R? Is it pronounced R? No, you idiot! Since you addle-brained twits are too dumb to understand a simple language, here's how you pronounce it. So this is an A, right? Yes! That is right. It makes an ah sound. So here's the B, it makes a b sound, except when it makes a p sound. You know how in English, sometimes words start with two consonants, but we only pronounce one? Side note, I really feel like the language suffers because of this. I mean, sure, you don't need to pronounce gnathostomes or pterodactyl or chthonic or pseudorieros, but then we just stuck in tsunami with the rest of them, despite the fact that tsa is normal and should be easy enough to pronounce. And don't get me started on czar. Actually, we probably will get back to that later. Anyway, you know how in English sometimes words start with two consonants but we only pronounce one? Come on, I just gave you so many examples. Point being, it's always the second one we pronounce. In Russian, they don't do this, but if they have two consonants with different voicing next to each other, it's likewise the first one that gives in. The example for b is yubka, but don't expect me to pull out an example every time we get a consonant. I'm fairly certain that you'll get the gist. This is v, it makes a v sound. Hey, remember that rule I mentioned 2 sentences ago? Well, we already have an exception. In words like vtornik, the v is first, so it devoices, but in words like tvarit, the V is second, and it still gets devoiced because the V is a weak coward that can't have some spine and voice another sound. Oh yeah, and it is also devoiced at the end of the word. All sounds do that, actually, is what I would say if I knew what I was talking about, because one of my teachers actually taught me that even though the sound devoices, it doesn't entirely devoice, and instead slips into a middle state. So far, I have had 6 Russian teachers, and all of them learn from different regions, most of which are diasporic, and none of which are Moscow, which is what the dictionaries are based off of. Speaking of which, Wiktionary says it's silent in clusters like chustvovать, but then people looked at me weird when I dropped it, so I don't know. Anyway, next up is G. The lowercase one actually doesn't look like that normally. This makes a G sound. Just kidding, you idiot! It also makes a V sound, like in Yevo and Mayevo and Bazovava. But these are all in genitive case endings. Normally, it just makes a G sound. Now, there is no place where the genitive case ending doesn't make a G sound, so there's no reason to not switch it over to being spelt with a V, but then it wouldn't match with the other Slavic languages where it's pronounced with an H, but anyways, G also has the same problems where it switches to K. This is D. It's actually normal, it just makes a D sound. I mean, obviously it still follows the same rules where it makes a T sound half the time, but it doesn't enjoy it very much. This is an E. It makes a yeah sound. Yes, with a ya. That's why at the start of words, it's written with a J in the spelling. But in the middle of words, even though we stop spelling it like that, it still makes a yeah sound. Kind of. We'll get to that later. This is also an E. It makes a yo sound. Most of the time, these will be written the same. This is a ja. It makes a ja sound, which I'm not going to bother trying to over-explain to you because we have in English. This is Z. It makes a z sound, which again follows all the rules that the other letters who dare commit the sin of being voiced must follow in order to stop. This is not an N. It's not an N, you idiot, you absolute buffoon. This is an I. It makes an E sound. This is a J. It makes a y sound. Actually, I also makes a y sound when it's in front of a vowel. Now, if you read it out loud like a good little Russian boy, you'll find terpenia has 4 syllables, but nobody pronounces it like that. So this is the same as this, which is really the same as this because the E has the J built into it. But be careful not to get the two mixed up. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell the difference between my and my. So here's a K. Shut up. Take the L. This is not a normal L. This is a dark L, except in American English, where this is a normal L, but it's wrong in every other language, so if they want to loanword them, they have to make it soft, a phenomenon which I'll get to. Now, it's worth noting that the L is actually darker in Russian than in English, except that's absolutely not worth noting because it probably means nothing to you. M and N are normal. Yes, N looks like an H. Our H looks like an E. Why is this the letter we use for this? This is the letter O. It makes an ah sound. Unless you stress it, then it makes an O sound. Actually, it only makes an ah sound if you don't stress it directly before the vowel you do end up stressing, which is contrasted by when it makes an sound when you regularly unstress it. A does this too, except it obviously doesn't make an O sound when unstressed. So if O unstresses to ah, does yo unstress to ya? No, you repugnant spittlebug, it unstresses to yeah. Except hold on, hold your stupid lippas on our horses because yeah actually unstresses to e, and therefore so does yo. And guess what, unicellular Ulysses over here? Yeah, also unstresses to E, so I guess they do all unstress to each other. Here's P, it makes a P sound. Here's R, it makes a rolled R. That's okay if you can't roll it, no one will hold it against you. Here's S, it makes a Z sound half the time. T makes a T sound, U makes a U sound, and unlike all the other vowels, it's normal. F makes a F sound, X makes a H sound, which we don't have in English, but it's so blindingly obvious how to pronounce it that I'm not even gonna try. No, you don't pronounce it like H. It's like you were hit in the brain with an ice pick as a child and an adult. Here's T, it makes a T sound. Yes, that's one sound. It's not the same as a T and a S next to each other. It's like the Ch sound. Oh, isn't that just the same as a T and a Sh next to each other? That's what you sound like. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did. Think about what you might still do. I hate you! I hate you all! I hate Russian! This is a Miyaki Znak. It makes a Y sound. Hey, Zinniop, didn't J make a Y sound? Well, this one makes it after a consonant. Actually, it makes it at the same time as a consonant, so all of these letters are actually two sounds, and one of them has a Y in it. The Miyaki Znak makes it soft, and the Chorri Znak makes it hard, except it's hard by default, so the Chorri Znak does nothing. So every consonant has both a hard and a soft version, one on its own and one with a Miyaki Znak. Wrong, you insufferable buffoon, baboon, bassoon! These three are always hard, so you can slap as many Miyaki Znaks as you want at the end of it. They will stay as sh and zh and ts, which is different from t and s next to each other, because if you make both of those soft, they will instead be soft next to each other. But only if both of them are. If only one of them is soft, then neither of them are. Oh, my bad. I was slip-sliding on my own leech brain out of my ear for trusting my teachers, because apparently it is the same, even when they're both soft. And ch isn't the same as t plus sh because ch is always soft, so it's more like t, but not that soft because the only other language I know with palatalization is Mandarin, and that's too soft! And also sh-ch, which hasn't made a sh-ch sound in ages. It actually makes a sh-sh sound, except no, you wretched rapscallion! This actually just makes a soft version of the sh sound. And if anyone tells you that you're pronouncing sh correctly, they're lying and delusional. Oh yeah, and instead of just relying on the Miyaki Znak to make stuff, any of these letters can do it, and if they shouldn't do it, they have to be these idiots. Of course, no one actually uses this one, and it just always has to be soft. Unless it's a loan word, in which case, yeah is hard, even when it's not supposed to be. And this is why, which makes an sound, except you aren't just missing a brain, but also an enteric nervous system, and probably a spinal cord too, because it actually makes an sound. Not to be confused with the ui sound, or the sound this makes when unstressed. And certainly not in the word pajausta, where you don't pronounce any vowels there at all. Except, oh no, this whole time we were all the disposable dunces during a dang dressing down, because isn't even a real phoneme, it's just the sound E makes when it isn't busy being a part of the previous consonant. They played us for fools, and that's what we are. We're nothing but a herd of unsightly, archaic chickens cloacas quivering from fear of the unknown, and that's why I'm running for city council in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I've been a supporter of small business